Welcome back, dear learners. Before the ad break, we dealt with accrued income. Now let us look at accrued expense. This is an expense that is due for the specific financial period but has not yet been paid. Such expense is still payable by the business. Now, I want us to look at the following activity. This will help us to understand how to record accrued expenses. And remember, we are dealing with adjustments. Here we have an extract from the pre-adjustment trial balance as of 28 February. And we have insurance, which is 44,000. The adjustment then reads, monthly insurance premium is 4,000. Insurance premium for February is still to be paid. Remember, every financial year or financial period has to have 12 months, all right? And then we are being told here that the monthly insurance premium is 4,000 and the premium for February is still to be paid. So we as a company are paying insurance maybe for our vehicles or for our buildings. We have not yet paid insurance for the month of February. That means we are owing. So there has to be an accrued expense, an expense that is still owing to our insurance company. That means of the 12 months, we have paid for 11 months. How do we get 11 months? We say the 12 months that we are supposed to pay minus the 1 month that we're still owing. Therefore, it means we have paid only for 11 months. We have paid for 11 months. But February is still to be paid. We are told that insurance premium is 4,000 per month. That means we are owing 4,000 to the insurance company. Let us therefore see how to record this in the general journal. There it is. It is important to understand that insurance is an expense. Insurance is an expense. And our expenses have a debit balance. That means whenever we look at an expense, it increases on the debit side. So when we come here, we'll debit our insurance, and it is 4,000. The 4,000 is what is still owing the amount that is accrued. So we debit it in our insurance, and then it's 4,000. Then we come to the accrued expense. It is now very important to understand that once an amount is accrued, and this is an expense, once an expense is accrued, we are owing a particular company. It becomes, therefore, a liability. A liability means we are owing. We are owing. In this case, we're owing for our insurance. So we come here, then we will credit accrued expense. Remember, liabilities have a credit balance. So we'll credit our accrued expense with 4,000. Very important. When you have done your general journal, it will help you now, even when you do your general ledger. Let us see how our general ledger is going to look like. The first thing is you start with your total brought forward. Remember what I said. Insurance is an expense. Therefore, it will have a debit balance. An expense on the debit side. So we bring the total, which is 44,000. Remember, this is what we paid for the 11 months. Okay, for the 11 months. And we have not yet paid for 1 month, that is that accrued expense. You remember? The 4,000. And what did we do here? In our insurance, we debited 4,000. So when we come here, we will also debit accrued expense, 4,000. Okay, so if we total this, this will give us 48,000. I will then close this to my profit and loss. So I'll come to the credit side, then say profit and loss, and I will get my 48,000, which is the total of these two amounts. 48,000 is what we must pay for this financial year for insurance. Our insurance is 4,000 per month. So if you say 4,000, multiply by 12, it will give you the 48,000 the same. But in this case, we had already paid 44 and we're told 1 month is still outstanding. So in any case, in this account, I must close it off to the profit and loss, and the amount must be insurance for the 12 months. Here is your 48. Now, in my accrued expense, I'll then come to the credit side and I'll say rent expense, and it is 4,000. And then I'll come now to my profit and loss. In my profit and loss account, remember, it is an expense, so I'll debit it in my profit and loss. Then I'll say rent expense, I'm bringing the 448, and I'm also completing double entry because in this account, I credited the 48. So when I come here, I would then debit the 48,000 in my profit and loss account. It becomes interesting then when we come to the accounting equation. I would encourage you, before you do the accounting equation, to understand the entries in the general journal, for they will help you when you do the accounting equation. The effect of the accrued expense, the effect of the accrued expense on the accounting equation. Here it is. Which account do we debit? We debit our insurance. There it is. All right? Why? Because this is an expense. So once we debit our insurance, we will come to our owner's equity. Remember, expenses decrease owner's equity. Hence, you find here I have a minus because expenses decrease owner's equity. So we are recording that adjustment, the insurance for the month of February. So when I come to my owner's equity, I'm saying minus 4,000. That is how I would adjust that accrued expense. But remember, in my general journal, I also credited accrued expense. And accrued expense, remember, I am owing. And once I am owing, I consider it a liability. So I'll come here, then I say my liability is increasing, plus 4,000. Remember, once you're owing a particular company, your liabilities will increase. Hence, you see here, I have a plus on my liabilities, plus 4,000. It will not affect my assets because remember, I am owing for an expense. So it will not affect my assets. This is how you should do your accounting equation. Once again, I would encourage you to do your general journal. It will make you understand your accounting equation much clearer. Dear learners, thank you so much for joining me in today's class, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.